Today we are in Väring, closer named in Skövde, one part of Sweden, in Skaraborg. And the name Väring, well, we can first say we are on a graveyard. As you see around you, there's a lot of graves. They have found raised stone and stone masses filled with body underneath.
Yes,
And
that's the grave was behind you.
yes, and then we have also 3 true huts and also a square of a grave. And they also have doom rings in the area. It's around 3 of them. It's often 3 doom rings. First they were in the first one, then the second one, and the really big mistakes were in the third one. Today they are graving some ditches around. That's why we hear all of these cars. It's not often that so much cars here. But Väring is a really special word because the people that were moving to Constantinople and serving for the emperor there, they called Väring. Väring is often mentioned in many different stories. The year 988, there was so much as 6,000 people from the north leaving to Constantinople to work for the emperor. That's why they believe that Väring has some special mystical name from this area, and the most famous of them all in the Värings area is Harald Hårdråde. And he was, well, some stories mention him like more a psychopath. They said it was more like this Viking, it was blood everywhere, and one time he took out the eyes for the emperor that lost between him and Zoe. But there was stories before this about this Harald. He lived in Norway. He had to flee Norway because he lost a fight in the Nordic border. So he had to flee and he landed in Constantinople, and that's why he ended up doing Väring. This is where the parts go apart, because some stories says that he was in love with a girl that he took and everything, but I can't find that in the history of the old mentioned stuff. In the old mentioned stuff, he just left with a lot of gold and silver back to Norway. He had so much money that he bought back half the Norway from his brother's son, Magnus the Great. No, Magnus the Good one. Oh, it's a lot when they have Magnus in every single name. But 2 years after that, Magnus, he died. And then all of the kingdom become Harald's. And what do we do with all of this? Of course, he takes together a big army with 300 ships, 15,000 men, and then he sails away to England and he tries to attack the English border, and he does. In the bridge of Norway, he slashed them all, and the people, they just fall underneath him, but it was really short, you know. I think it was just some weeks, then he got shot by an arrow and died, and then they say Viking age is over. He was Norway's last king. He is mentioned in a lot of sagas. He has 2 memory sightings in Norway. I'm going to show them afterwards. But Väring, they have shown a lot of these lions between us in Sweden, and they think the lions are of the Constantinople, because in Constantinople there were golden lions on each side of the ruler, and they were mooring. They were roaring, and they were slapping the ground with their tails all night. Really nasty, horrible. So that's why we brought it to Sweden. Of course it was a big one, and they have even found I'm going to show that too, runes on a lion from that time period. They had a lot of stories about these Väring people, because it's mentioned how they were covered in a lot of skin from wolves and bears, and they were having big shields that they were slamming their swords against you and dancing around totally crazy. Well, of course, we all know Vikings did that. Because it's also this problem. Many years ago, the discussion was that Väring and Viking was exactly the same thing. It both mentioned people from the north. But they have found other words for this too. So it's mentioned that Väring means Eldsworn people. Some say it's Nordic people. The first one that was going on Väring was from Sweden. And some say that the old Greekish name is I'm going to text it instead because it's really hard in English. That's also mentioned people from the north. So a lot of Nordic people from the beginning was mentioned Väring in Constantinople and all of the Greek areas around that place. So it was the people of the north. But it's still really interesting because this graveyard is from the last part of Iron Age, or a little bit earlier, but it's Iron Age until the Viking Age, and then it ends. It ends around the area when Väring ended, and the people that were, when the English heard about this, they wanted to try it too, but then they were called English Väring instead. So it's a really big name, and there's a lot of facts to read about them, and so many stories about how the Rus area, they wanted to gain some money at this too, because they thought this is our people.